Welcome to Wiltshire, where you will find farmers' markets in the majority of local towns offering produce direct from the suppliers within the most farmed county in the southwest. Today we will be looking at examples of best practice through farm diversification and local produce, as we know that within today's economy, diversification is becoming a necessity. The latest figures from DEFRA show that farm diversification is here to stay. It can make for some eye-opening experiences in the countryside nowadays. In order to provide our viewers with an insight into local produce and the farming of, we got in touch with Karen McCann and Sarah Buttle so that they could share their views on the following questions.
So I chose the piece closest to me, Chitton Farm. I had 50 acres for £50 a year. That's how it started. Within 3 weeks of taking on the land, I had upwards of 200 pigs on there, I would think. All rare breeds, all kept outside, all kept in family groups, totally different to the commercial pig farming that we use in this country.
Well, we've been looking to buy a small farm for some time. It took some time. Buying a big farm's easy, buying a small farm isn't. But we wanted to do something that was to do with both the welfare of animals and in terms of high quality product. So the quality of the product, quality of life for the animals, and that's kind of where we got to. So we farm rare breed pigs. We have 6 different rare breeds on the farm, traditional native British breeds. From them we produce fresh pork, obviously, which is wonderful and completely different to the pink flabby stuff you'd buy in a supermarket. But also we have an on-site production unit where we process salami and air-dried ham and bacon and gammon, so Wiltshire Cure ham, for some amazing products that taste the way products used to, all done on a very small scale, true artisan production.
I use my story unashamedly. Almost every article that's written about me, and there have been lots, if I'm on TV, Country File, Woman's Hour, any of the magazines, I am always keen to drop in somewhere that I'm a retired teacher, because I am. I normally try to get in that I'm a size 8, not because it means anything, but it gives people think of a pig farmer as a hairy-faced bloke, you know, a bit gruff, rough, and if you're a female pig farmer, you're not much different, to be honest. So it's quite nice to get in that you're feminine and that you're a little bit businesslike and professional.
The story is probably the most important thing. It's really hard to differentiate. If you go into a supermarket and look at supermarket packaging, it all sounds exactly wonderful. People have this vision of animals living on a wonderful farm and living wonderful lives, but really it's not like that. So we have to use our story to convince people that there is a difference, and we almost need to invent new words to tell the story.
I couldn't market myself as the product, although I was fairly unique to that product in this area, but I could market myself as I think I was really, when I very first started, it was taste of the tradition but with a twist of the modern world added. So everything I did was going back in time but twisted to make it quite unique. So for instance, I sold sausages, and none of my sausages contained flavourings, additives, colourings or preservatives. All they contained, for instance, if I sold pork and Stilton sausages, the only 2 ingredients would be pork and Stilton. Fresh organic Stilton, fresh pork from me. And that cut down a lot of the complications. Complications come if you want to have something with a shelf life on it of a week and a half. I didn't. People came to me to buy fresh products that they were going to eat almost that week. That cut down a lot of complications. If I had wanted to compete with supermarkets, which I didn't, I never wanted my products in a supermarket. Firstly, because I could never compete on price, and I actually wanted most of the money to come to me and not go to a middleman. So I sold directly myself and cut out all those things. But if I had have gone to a supermarket, I'd have had to jump through millions and zillions of health and safety hoops, and I didn't. I had all my products cut and slaughtered by the proper abattoir, done by the registered premises butchers, and then they were sold directly from me. I didn't keep freezer-fulls of them. I didn't keep boxes of them at home. If somebody came to me and wanted half a pig for their freezer, which is all jointed and done in a lovely box with tissue paper and everything and recipes in, it was killed on a Tuesday, delivered back to me on a Wednesday and delivered to my customer on a Wednesday. So I didn't come into any of the raft of health and safety things that I would have come into.
Local farms are difficult because it's hard to differentiate. If we can get people to visit the farm and they can see the difference, then they understand what it is we're doing. But if they can't see the difference, it's really hard to explain how we are different to what other people are doing. We try and encourage people to come to the farm all the time, so if we have a new customer that rings up or emails, we always say, come down, we feed the pigs twice a day, every day of the year, we're always happy to have visitors, we're always happy to show people around. We have a few events during the year, so we're associated with the slow food movement in the UK, and we have an open day every year for them, so that brings people to the farm to actually see what goes on here and actually understand what's happening with the animals.
Slow Food is a global grassroots organisation with supporters in over 150 countries around the world that links the pleasure of food with a commitment to the community and the environment.
It's really important to my customers. I'd like to think it's as important to my customers as it is to me. It is the most important thing to me. If there was no provenance, I wouldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. I have to, hand on heart, only sell rare breed pigs that have been kept outside, that have only been fed natural feed. I mean, I don't want to beat about the bush and hammer on, but I don't want to feed stuff to other people's children that I wouldn't feed to my own children. It's as simple as that.
Provenance is one of the more important things. Fortunately, with all the horse food scandals and what have you that have happened over the past few years, people are genuinely more interested in where does their food come from. Food miles don't get much shorter than here. The pigs are born here, they spend their whole lives here. They have to go off to the abattoir for slaughter, but that's only 7 miles away. So as far as food miles goes, pretty short, and people can see what they're getting, they can choose what they're getting.
I thought my customer base would be ladies my kind of age who could remember pork when pork tasted beautiful, when it had a big lovely crackling and you ate it and you had juices running down your mouth. I thought they would be my customers. My first customers were all young, yummy mummies as I call them. They were absolutely browned off with trying to make their children eat sausages that were full of rubbish. They didn't want it. They loved the sausages. I used to do, I don't do them now, but we used to do chipolatas called little legs, and they were just chipolatas, just natural pork stuffed full of vegetables, and all organic vegetables chopped up and put into the chipolatas. Now we make them as sausages because actually they seem to appeal to grown-ups too. But they were my customers, young mums with children, and they weren't mums who had really deep pockets. My customers were people who understood when you eat good food, you don't need to eat lots of it. Much better to have quality than quantity.
So initially everything was word of mouth, either by us calling on people. So we sell into some restaurants and they put on their menu that their pork has come from Buttle Farm, and we get people who contact us afterwards and said, oh, I ate at this restaurant, it was fantastic, can I buy some direct? So that's always good to get a referral. Word of mouth through local people, through friends. But also we use social media quite actively, so we have a Twitter account and a Facebook account, and we post regularly to try and encourage people, follow the right people, get them to follow us back and spread the word that way as well. We haven't done any formal marketing yet in terms of running adverts and what have you, but that will probably come.
I think it is important, and I think it's a growth area. I think local farmers could do a lot more to promote themselves, but I think that local farmers here just don't understand about self-promotion and marketing.
Our mission really, if we can, is to sell everything within 25 miles of the farm, and that's a fairly big catchment area. But more and more we are finding people who are interested in the provenance of their food. Where's it come from? Where was it farmed? How did it get to their plate? So people are interested in local food, but people also have concerns about welfare and ethics, and I think that that probably plays as much importance as local food does.
Yes, I think they probably do. Should they get some more? Probably. Do they take advantage of all of it? Probably not. Farmers are farmers, you know, I hate to use that, keep saying hairy-faced farmers, but often the farms have been passed from generation to generation to generation, and I sometimes feel in life that something that's just given to you doesn't necessarily have as much value as something that you've really worked for and set up yourself.
Support is difficult because part of the story you're trying to tell is as an independent producer. I don't think we should expect the council to support us or help us, that's our job. I think probably the biggest thing is for people's mindset to change. So if you can buy locally, you should try to buy locally. I understand it's really convenient for people to go into a supermarket and just buy absolutely everything on one shop. But if it takes a little extra effort or a little extra time to buy from a local producer and support your local producer, it's like supporting the local shop in town. If you don't support it, it'll go away. So if you can, support your local producers, because otherwise they just might not be there next time you go to look.
So there you have it. The most important factors when building success through local produce are marketing through your story, provenance of your products, product positioning, and taking advantage of the support available to you. Join us next time when we will be looking into farm diversification through self-catering accommodation in the scenic area of Devon.